What's up, guys? Welcome to Inside the Brain of a Cowboy, Training Thoughts. All right, so this is something new that I've been trying out. I haven't really done too many of these, but, trying to see how it goes. I enjoyed doing it the last time. It turned out well, so let's get right to it. For those of you who don't know, I have a master's degree in kinesiology from Western Illinois University. I'm a professor of exercise science / kinesiology at a small private college, which may be reclassified as a university in the next year or so, which is very exciting. So not just some bromigo hitting the weights and spitting thoughts, as I know some of you guys would probably really enjoy that, but I'm here to kind of give some insight on my theories and scientific approach to training, right? So you just saw me hitting a couple sprints on the curved treadmill. The air quality has been absolutely terrible the last week or so when I was shooting this video, so I did my sprints inside instead of outside. Sprinting on the treadmill, those manual treadmills, is a good alternative when the weather's bad, when it's winter, if you're in the northern hemisphere of the planet, especially in the United States. If you're north of Kentucky or any of those midline states, it snows, it gets cold, there's ice on the ground. It's a little dangerous to get outside and sprint, so prefer to sprint on actual solid ground, but treadmill's a good alternative. Hit a couple different landmine variations, looking for some good power outputs and working on the elastic components of upper body power. I'll classify those as upper body power movement for my plyometrics and performance phases of my training sessions, although you could argue that it's a full body movement. I do strict lower body plyometrics and sprints and agility drills, and then I classify medicine ball throws and landmine movements as upper body, as well as like plyometric push-ups and things of that nature. Okay, you also saw me hit a few reps of some weighted pull-ups. Not looking to set any PRs today. My main focus was going to be trying to deadlift, which is something I've never really done even through my college football career and now going into jiu-jitsu. I haven't really done a ton of it, but I thought I would try it out today. And I was feeling pretty decent, putting some weight on the bar, and then I went to go and pick up, just over 400 pounds. It was a little tough to move, so I said, what am I doing? What is my goal? Let's keep the main thing my main thing. I'm not here to power lift. I'm trying to develop and train so that I can be a better grappler on the mat, keep my body nice and healthy. So I switched it up, went back to my normally scheduled routine. I'm doing Zercher deadlifts, but what did you know? I'm able to deadlift straight from the floor with that bar, which is a new range of motion PR for me. I was using a cambered barbell a few weeks before that, leading up to this, so gradually increasing the range of motion, and then we'll progressively increase the weight from there. Eventually I might even add a deficit stand on a plate or two, really emphasize that range of motion there. If you're a regular gym goer, most people probably aren't doing this type of movement in the gym. They're probably just adding weight to increase the variables of those movements. But I'm focused on being strong and healthy in very compromising positions, quote unquote compromising. I didn't just start with this weight on the bar, and I didn't just start with this range of motion. I progressed my way into it, and I will continue to climb this ladder until I see diminishing returns, and then I'll switch it up and find a different progression for those attributes. After I finish up those deadlifts, trying to hit a little bit of a tempo with some isometric component in there, and let me tell you, it had my legs shaking. My back felt so good afterwards. Had a nice lower back pump, but not the kind that cripples you. The one that kind of makes you stand up tall and feel really, really good. So straight into my accessory movements here. I'm building up some body armor, trying to get some bent over, a little bit of a bent over dumbbell lateral raise here. I did a drop set. I believe I did 10 with a heavier weight and then dropped immediately to 10 with a lighter weight. Really trying to fatigue the muscle and tell it it's time to grow. Okay, get a nice big pump there. I've been playing around with different things to try to build up some body armor. Oh, there's a police car driving past my apartment, so I pray for them, keep them nice and safe. Make sure nothing crazy goes down outside, you know what it is. So I'm hitting a ton of reps of these, and then immediately wiping some sweat off my eyebrows. Feeling pretty good. I got about 15 minutes till my next client shows up, so I'm trying to make sure I get everything done with an appropriate amount of time so I can stop dripping sweat before they come on and maybe get some lunch or something before as well. So I'm going to these reverse candlestick style leg raises. You can call them whatever you want. I'm just trying to flex my core in a really big range of motion. Those Zercher deadlifts are really good for beginning in a flex position and then extending back to neutral at the lower back. And these candlesticks are going to start in a neutral spine alignment, and we're going to flex our trunk up until my lower back rolls up off the ground. This is to help me get nice and strong and flexible for inversions and other things. And then, just trying to keep my body healthy, right? It's not always just about sports. I would suggest anybody who's ever had a spine in their life to do some spine rounding movements and progressively overload them so you can have a nice strong back, so that when you bend over to pick up a book, or if you drop a pen and bend over to pick it up, you're strong in those positions. It's not the first time you've been in there, and you can stay nice and strong. Okay, I'm gonna finish these up and then get right back with you guys. All right, next thing I'm gonna move into is a close grip bench press. Okay, I know what you're saying. Hey, aren't you on your accessories? This is an accessory for me. I'm considering it a tricep dominant movement, okay? But it's gonna deliver a very large stimuli. You don't always have to go through and do your Bromigo mind-muscle connection, staring in the mirror as you move the joint through its range of motion. I'm trying to stimulate growth and strength. I'm trying to stress my nervous system, my central nervous system, so that when it's time to go on the mat in training and competition, everything is firing on all cylinders. All right, so I hit a handful of reps there. I forget exactly how many I did. Hope you guys were counting, because I wasn't while recording this video or this voiceover. So pretty good there. I believe I have a bicep movement, so I'm working at flexing and extending the elbow. Extending the elbow was the close grip bench press, and flexing the elbow will be, I believe these are going to be TRX curls, maybe face pulls. Looks like it's just a nice standard row, but I'm really trying to emphasize squeezing at the bicep instead of pulling through my elbows to contract my back muscles. Okay, really just trying to keep my joints nice and healthy so they can move through a nice range of motion. And honestly, I love doing TRX rows for my biceps. I feel like I get a really good contraction, and a ton of blood just jumps right in there. It just feels good, right? You might not get as much of a stretch as other variations, and other people might not even consider them a biceps exercise, but you know what I do on this day, right? You know what it is, baby. Send them to the farm.